Hi guys, Josh. I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. We got storm running in, pheasant season's starting to push. I've got guy out on my public land that I use. So that's part of the reason we're wearing the orange hat, just to help increase visibility. But while we're out here, we're gonna check trail cams. I'm gonna move a couple cameras around, do some quick ground scouting. I'm gonna try and not push. I think this guy that's out here is a deer hunter. Bow season's open, so I'm not gonna try and push him. But at the same time, I have the right to be out here too. So we're gonna do a quick look through, kind of do a quick run through, see what we like, see what we see, move a couple of cameras around just a little bit, and pull memory cards, see what is showing now that really we're starting to see some pushing through. So hang tight, we'll walk and talk here in a little bit and we'll see what's coming up. Trying to be very, very, very respectful here. I did just run into one of the other guys. So what we're basically doing here is we're just checking trail cameras, checking pathways, talking to Hunter that was out here real briefly. He's seeing the same thing I am. This is travel path. He said he was out here yesterday, saw an 8-10 pointer, and then brief little rubs. One I already showed you, and with with really starting to kick at any time here, I would expect shit just to start popping. So it's really one of those, this is why part of the reason I carry, I never know what's gonna pop. But you'll also notice I switched up pretty heavy here. I did not wear anything tan. I did not wear anything deer colored. I went dark green. Threw on my orange hat. And an orange hat was a good thing, because the hunter didn't have his bow pulled on me, but very easily could have. So it's also one of those, just kind of watching as we're pushing through here, because we never know what we're gonna see. Take a look, see what's on cameras. We'll get back to you. Alright, now that fall's really starting to heat up, just look at that natural beauty. Look at that natural color. So many different colors, so just beautiful coloring. Just gorgeous area. Full admission, this is a very, very, very short trail cam set. I just switched a couple of them around here. I did it off camera quick. But basically now I'm going to push it into some of these weeds over here if I don't see movement on them for a couple of weeks. We went for the last month, essentially. We've been above temps pretty much every week, every day. We've been hotter than normal, and now all of a sudden we're back seasonal, if not almost just a hair bit cool weather. Would not surprise me a bit if we end up flushing a deer or two up throughout the walk here. There's a lot of animal chattering, but we'll see what's up. Okay, one little thing I want to show here. My truck's sitting there. about right there. Off in the grass there, you kind of see where it ridges up. You can just see the outline of another vehicle. And then there's a third one back here behind this hill. This is public land, guys. Everybody has a right to use it. I try to time my stuff so that I'm not interfering with others' hunts. But like today shows, I'm gonna end up flushing people occasionally. It's just the nature of the beast. So what we do is we try to work with it, get in, get my stuff done, get out. I have every right to be here as the guys out hunting do. It's just trying to be cognizant of each other as much as possible, aware of each other, be courteous to each other. I may move a camera over there yet. There's something I see back there intrigues me. And if you look, well, that's straight across. You can just see the edge of higher grass. Might be something just worth taking a sit for a couple weeks. Put a camera out there. Just see what's out there, what's going to push through. This side, I don't expect to see near as much rubs. This side's a lot more open field. When I hit down south, which is the side I usually start, that's when I expect a lot more of the rubs, the hard pushes. But we'll see what's out there. We'll see what I'm showing. I'll let you know. I'll talk to you later in a little bit. Man, just even when I'm out here, even if I don't shoot anything throughout the year, this landscape is just gorgeous. Especially now that leaves are turning and leaves are starting to fall. I still think we're about 2 to 3 weeks behind weather-wise. But everything is just so goddamn gorgeous. It's just so easy to get lost. Look at that beauty. Across that lake. Look at how gorgeous that is. And you're starting to see all the different colors pop out. All the greens, the yellows, oranges. Look back in there, you're starting to see a little bit of reds in there too. This time of year is just gorgeous. I don't understand how people can't want to get outside. But just as we're walking here, we're constantly looking. I don't think anything will be out. Everything I've seen for trail cams shows me early morning, late push out with a lot of movement in the wood line through then, between then. A lot of nocturnal movement. Can't see it, but on the base of that tree is a nice road, but it's probably 2 years old. Literally, that trail path I was telling you about, right there, I've got a camera set on it. And that's honestly how I do a lot of my camera setups. It's not necessarily on the path, but it overlooks it. There's a chance I miss a bunch. But at the same time, you never know. Cool, wet days. I would be surprised if things aren't moving here shortly. It's about a little over 2 hours before sundown, which kind of shocks me that I'm not seeing more movement through here, with it being 50s. But we'll have to look at cameras really carefully. Because you never know when something might just pop out at an unexpected time. And I mean, right now you have, I'd almost call it light breeze, but southeast, almost east breeze. So everything I'm doing is smelling them up miles away. Deer smell me and hide under. So on the south side here, that's when I expect shit to really start to pop. And part of the reason we flipped the orange hat on. I want to be seen. I told you I flushed out a hunter earlier. I didn't see him till I was 20 feet on him. So this time of year, especially with pheasant season going, on top of rabbit season, I think, pretty sure rabbit's open, coyote's open, bow season's open, so there's a lot of seasons open, so a lot of public ground gets used pretty heavily. So it's important to take care of yourself, be safe as much as possible. And one way I do that is I throw the orange hat on. I have my pistol on me. Legally, I can carry my shotgun through here, pheasant hunt. And it's pheasant season. I am well within my legal rights to do that. I choose not to just because, one, it's so goddamn tree laden. For a lot of this, but two, like I said, I walk into guys pushing and hunting other species, and at the same time I would rather be courteous to them, let them have the shot too. But now as we're pushing back through this trailhead area, we're just going to stop and pause a few times. Just kind of get an idea and an ear for what's bouncing through. Highly doubt anything, but we never know, so let's take a chance and listen as we're going. I'm going to try and be a little bit quieter here. But here's our natural V. Normally we head south first and then we pick up the north end. But because of that bow hunter, today, I decided to try and be a little bit more courteous. Let him have as much of the trailway as he could. Because he'd be sitting about, I don't know how well you can see it, but there's this little bit of hill here, and he's sitting on the bottom end of that hill right there. And it's just trying to be courteous to him, to me, both. When it's my season, I don't want guys flushing me if I can avoid it. So I try to avoid flushing others as much as possible. And that includes, you hear me, I brought my voice way down. A little fox or coyote hole. But we're watching all this here. Anything popping, anything starting to show. Where I still think they are, I still think they're in that bowl on the south side here. Just along the edge of the trail line. As I'm out here walking now, especially, I'm really looking hard. What's laying down? Do I have any scrapes showing? Do I have any markings showing on trees? And you see all this grass movement. I still think there's something pushing through all this. And I flush rooted about right in there. I think if there's anything, it's down in that edge of the bowl. But let's go look. See what's on these cameras down here. Finish the walkthrough. Do a little side walking. And we'll get back to you. Alright. What we're looking at here is just some of this fallen tree line. Just trying to see what's out here, what's pushing through. Do I see any footprints in the ground? Do I see any potential deer spots? Back in there is where I think they're sitting. In fact, I know they sat throughout last year down in there. So what I'm kind of doing is I'm just kind of walking, pushing that a little bit, but leaving it pretty off limits. Let it touch. Where I sat for a big chunk of the year last year, because a lot of this, once winter hit, a lot of this overgrowth fell down, was right up in here. You can see I'm right on the one trail. Might have movement back there. Might have just a little baby movement right back there. All this open ground. And then literally that high grass just a little ways beyond. Would not surprise me one bit if something's pushing through all this. Trail path we noted a couple weeks ago, a couple videos ago. Back in there, still looks like it's not getting a lot of the deer trail, which honestly confuses me. I'll be honest, I don't get it. Because I know that was a path, unless it's been too warm yet and they haven't ducked into that taller grass yet. We'll see. They're talking cool weather now for a while. So maybe we'll see something changing up here now that cooler seasonal and below seasonal averages are here, it sounds like. Side note, just, you hear me say seasonal average. Seasonal high for right now is 50s, 60. Still fairly warm. I'm out here in a t-shirt and a zip up, and truthfully I'm sweating. Truth be told, if it hadn't been because I saw the two cars, I wouldn't have even bothered throwing the stocking hat on. I did it just to give guys something a little obvious to sit and see. Just sit for a minute down in here. Very easily, you can see something pop in these wood lines. Very, very easily. As we're pushing here, we're just constantly eyes are flowing. Here's what I mean. From the south side of my bowl, south side of my bowl is on the other side of this little jetty. You can see where it already starts to dip down and into it. Creek line's right there. So I am not far at all. Not a deer, but it took me a second and a readjustment on the angle. There's a hell of a branch right there that's hanging down. But you can see the grass line is already starting to take back a lot of this water. So, as we're pushing through here, we're gonna be popping 3 or 4 times over those hill lines just to see what's going on. I don't know, because where I'm at, state-owned land is on the other side of that creek line there. Straight across is private, and there's a fence line in here somewhere where it divides the two. So it's one of those, I can push it, but I have to be very careful where I push it. Here's what I mean. You can see just how close that river line is. Just how thick some of that undergrowth is. And right there, you see the creek line, you see the high sandbar there, fallen tree line. You see this is actively moved through. This is active movement through here, so it is very easy to see that, hey, something is traveling this. And truthfully, I don't have enough trail cameras out. Because if I had about 4 more, I'd put 1 right in that hole. Because I think there's a lot of movement coming through there early and late. But I don't have that capability, so what I want to do, here in about 2 weeks, I'm going to come out and we're going to kind of build a little under tree hole right here where I can watch all of this. And now we're starting to see some movement. I still think on the backside there too. See how it dips and then it goes back. There's another little gully like this right in there. We don't see the travel path yet. But give it about another month once winter starts to hit and we start to get a little bit of snow down, you'll see that travel path get used a lot. And all we're doing is just pulling trail cameras and looking. We're not really even. We're doing some scouting. We're doing some scouting, but we're not really pushing the scout. This late in the fall, truthfully, unless I know exactly where I'm going, I don't like moving cameras around. And if I had about 3 more cameras, that'd be perfect for what I want to do. That might be a next year plan. Because we just want to push a little bit while we're down here. See if there's anything down this way. Here's what I'll do. I'll even take... See, I'm still not seeing a lot of the rubs. But here's what I'm seeing. And I tried to tell you, I tried to explain this last trail cam walkthrough videos. But this is what I mean. To look at it, this all looks thick and impenetrable. But once you get up here, it's actually pretty easy to walk through. I didn't even notice this, but now that we get close, you see it? Look at all that grass laid down. It starts right here. Kind of see a couple of paths. Right there's a big one, and then one that leads back and back through. I do think this is, I think down here is one hell of a travel little hole. And I have a video to back it up, but I just don't know where exactly they're coming from that edge to readjust camera. So what we're gonna do is, one, we're gonna have a cigarette. But then two, we're just gonna kind of sit down here for a few minutes. Here's what I showed you. On the backside where it sticks out, you can see how quickly it juts back. Sit right along this field line, or this grass line. If it was me, and I had a tree stand to do it, straight out, there is roughly pretty good sized tree that's straight up. I'd get 8-10 foot off the ground and just put a real simple tree stand up there and just watch, because I bet like hell this gets traveled all kinds of time. But we're just pushing. We're not really, we're pushing the tracking, trying to lock down the game plan for this year. I think I know where I'm going to go. I think I'm going to end up on that north side this year if I'm going solo. And it sounds like I'm going to go solo. It sounds like my brother, my cousin aren't going to come down and hunt for a couple of days, which is fine. It gives me time to be out on my own. As this is starting to die off now, you're starting to see the push throughs in this grass line. And I mean, again, I'll just go for reference point. I'm 6'5". The camera's about my eyeball level, and some of this grass is a good foot taller than me yet. So we're just watching as we're walking. Looking at the ground, a little push down, but I think that's just natural die off. This is travel path. Why I call it travel path. Uniform ground push. Something's running this line right here. Just run this whole line, because if you look at the whole way down, everything's laid down one way. So, just as we're walking through all this, we're constantly watching. And truthfully, I've heard more birds chirping across the way. It's 150, 200 yards. No, 100 yards. Well, you see I'm hitting these travel paths, just trying to figure out something. What I will end up doing, and it won't be today because I'm going to respect the hunters that are out here, but I'll come back in and I'll walk this bowl area by itself. And that is my whole goal for another trip, is come in and watch this bowl. And I want to show you some of these early season rubs I think I've got the one from earlier this walk. But ooh, that is a really fresh rub too. Right here. Very, very fresh. My guess. I mean, my guess, the deer's sitting here like this. He's eating some of this taller grass and he reaches up and scratches and rubs. My guess is that's a smaller buck. Not a huge buck. 6 point, 8 point, maybe. But that is fresh. That is really, really fresh rub. Versus, this is one that's probably, I would say probably 3 years old. Another couple up here that are older rubs. But I mean, you can just see the different coloring. Just little things like that. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm searching for. That's what I'm digging, trying to find, trying to figure out where the spots are. And again, you hear me drop my voice. The hunter's a couple hundred yards as the crow flies across from me, so it's just trying to be polite. Not flush deer on him. Oh, not flush deer from him. But yeah, I still have every right to be out here. Like I said, you're starting to see more and more bird traffic. Yeah, something's picking right there at those. Base of the roots, something was nubbing at those. I mean, it's little stuff you see like this, like that tells me, at least, hey, there is movement through here. Whether or not it stays all winter, couldn't tell you. But we're constantly going to be out here and exploring. What I'll probably end up doing, his first shotgun opens December 6th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. Ends the 10th of December. And then second shotgun is, I think it's the 13th through the 21st. I think it's an early. I don't know. But we'll probably put a good month in yet of pushing. And then come out either Thursday or Friday after first season's hit. And just try to grab trail camera cards one more time. But I'm going to let you guys go here with the hunter coming up. I'm just going to try and be very quiet. So I'll talk to you later. Okay, the one thing I want to show you here, that high grass that runs on that south side runs right up to the road here. And give me a second here. Battery doesn't die, I'll show you. I mean, just where we're looking at. And right up in here is about the initial, well, no, I can't say that. First bull is right here where we see it first dip back. This is all that bowl area. But where we're actually looking, where I've been highlighting the trail line, you can see it here. Edge of the tree line here is that the south end of the north part of the bowl back here. All I'm doing is I'm sitting on this backside of this grass, but there's 15 acres of grass right here, 10-15 acres, and then south side of this tree line here, the south pasture, or the south bowl as I've been calling it on the trail cameras, all backs into this. So I mean, you can see why this is all so heavily pushed. And literally right across the road here, there's more public ground. But literally right off the ditch line, there's overflow creek line on both sides here. So, and then where I was telling you on the south side of the creek line here, something pops up, I'll show you here. We'll have enough camera juice. But over this old, very small one-lane bridge. That's that creek line I keep telling you about that you see popping throughout. And it opens up once you cross the main creek line. You're starting to see the peaks of it. All of this grass on this backside. And this is all still public hunting. All this on both sides, all this higher grass is all public hunting. So, it is yearly a very high deer producing area. Very decent deer producing. I hear every year 3 or 4, 8, 10, 12 points, which for this part of Iowa, northwest Iowa, that's big deer that come out of this. And this is, if you would stretch this out or stretch a string, I think it runs about 4.5 miles. But it's just a lot of back and forth and knowing what's state, knowing what's public ground and what's privately owned. Because tree line, right down in here, the tree line is the difference. I mean, that's how quick some of this can change, and you have to be paying attention. State law also says I cannot shoot within 200 yards of an occupied building. The firearm I'm using has an effective range of about 300. But I wouldn't push anywhere near that far. Near that close. For me, I try to stay pretty far away as a measure of respect